Hey everyone, it's Tenja. So let's take a look at what we have going for the week of November 22nd to November 28th in World of Warcraft. The first thing we have is Castle Nathria, Sanctum of Domination, and Sepulchre of the first one will be fated for one last week. So if you still need your Jigglesworth Senior, be sure to get out there and give it your best shot to get it. If Mythic Plus is your thing, the affixes this week will be Tyrannical, Raging, and Volcanic. With Tyrannical, bosses have 30% more health. Bosses and their minions inflict up to 15% increased damage. With Raging, non-boss enemies enrage at 30% health remaining, dealing 50% increased damage. And finally Volcanic, while in combat, enemies periodically cast gouts of flames that erupt beneath the feet of distant players. If PvP is your thing, Classic Ashran will be up this week for the PvP Brawl. And if you happen to have the Gladiator's Sanctum in your garrison, and you haven't finished all your quests for that, you can pick them up and work on them this week. And we won't be seeing any weekly bonus events till December 13th. But between the pre-patch stuff and starting to level our characters on the 28th, I personally wouldn't have time to mess with it anyways, so I'm kinda glad they're not around. Pushing on from that, we have 1 week left on the 18-year anniversary event. So if you haven't gotten your Illidari Doomhawk yet, just head over to the portal room in either Stormwind or Orgrimmar and take the portal to the Caverns of Time. Go outside, kill the Doomwalker, and you should receive the mount. Also, if you need the Stormpike Battle Ram or the Prestwolf Howler, this will be your last week to work on Korak's Revenge. And to knock out the achievement, Alterac Valley of Ol. This will earn you the mount. And finally, we're on the last week of the pre-patch. And while there is a lot to do during this event, I personally have 31 characters to get through the invasions to gear up yet. We also have the 5-man dungeon going, Ultimate, the Legacy of Tyr. I don't normally do this on every character, just ones I kinda consider mainish. I will do it on my main for sure. And last but not least, if you haven't built your Invoker yet, you can do that and get a jump on him for the expansion. While building one, you'll notice there are quite a few options when you're customizing them, so this may take you a little bit to get through doing it. I personally built one, I just haven't logged into game with him yet. But for me in World of Warcraft this week, even with dealing with all the pre-patch stuff, I still did get out and manage to farm my 11 mounts for the week. I wasn't sure if I was going to get them done because I was messing with the invasion so much. So I normally have a set order I kind of do these in, but this week it didn't happen that way. So the first thing I did this week when farming for mounts was I went to Uldir and I went after Mimron's Head. I got my 19th attempt in there, but I didn't see it drop. And the reason I did this first is because we had a server reset, so I went over to Northrend and parked and waited to see if I might see the Time Lost Proto Drake. They're known to spawn after resets, and there was a few dozen of us up there after this reset, but no one called it out and I didn't see it, so it seems like I'll have to try another day for that one. And it must have been a day or two later, I actually got in and took care of Antorus the Burning Throne. This gave me attempt number 35 on the Shackled Urzel, the sword, and the scythe, but again my whole group got skunked this week. So after I got Antorus the Burning Throne done, I figured I'd head over to my Mythic Nighthold and get my attempt number 26. I still didn't see it drop, but after doing these two I figured I'd get back over and hit some more invasions on a few more of my alts. I don't remember if it was a day or two later, but I did get into Blackrock Foundry on Mythic, and I got my 68th attempt on the Ironhoof Destroyer. I'd really like to get this mount, it's so good looking. And later in the day, when I was in Northern Barrens doing a Primal Invasion, another player decided to pull the mount out and show it off. Obviously I'm not the only person that thinks it's a pretty nice looking mount, but after a few days and I had all my raids done, I wanted to hit the 5-man mythics for Battle for Azeroth. So of course I hit Freehold first. I got my 26th attempt on Sharkbait the Red Parrot. I didn't have any luck on that one, so I headed over to King's Rest and I got my 18th attempt on the Tombstalker. And I didn't have any luck on that one either. So really the only thing I had left to do was the Pandaren world bosses. And wouldn't you know it, if you built an Invoker this week and took them over at the beginning of the week and tried farming the world bosses, they didn't have any loot available on the loot table except for the mounts. So the mounts were dropping like candy for people if you were on an Invoker. And instead of Blizz taking them mounts away, they just raised the drop chances on all the world bosses. So I got attempt number 173 on the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent, And then I got attempt number 149 on the Cobalt Primordial Dire Horn. Then I got attempt number 197 on the Thundering Cobalt Cloud Serpent. Then I went after the Son of Galleon, and I knew they had changed the drop rates, so I did it on 29 characters. I got my attempts up to 583, and I did record them, so let's take a look at them. Again, none of the 4 bosses dropped their mount for me this week, but they did raise the drop rate, so I'm going to keep pushing at this and hopefully see one pretty soon. And again this week I really didn't have time to get into Siege of Orgrimmar. That place takes so long, so I didn't get any chances at my Tusk of Manoroth. But I did run my 12 characters through the Tomb of Sargeras and got attempts number 103 to 115 on the Abyss Worm. So let's take a look at them, and I'll see you on the other side. ...115 attempts on this mount, and I still didn't see it. And normally, about this time, I would try farming up a little bit of transmog, but because of the pre-patch stuff again, I just didn't want to put time into it. But if you're wondering, this week I'm wearing another old Wrath of the Lich King set. This is the 25-man normal set from Ice Crown Citadel. It's the Sanctified Yamachar's Lord's Battle Gear. And in my personal opinion, This is one of the nicest looking warrior sets in the game. But if you decide to go after it, you will be an Ice Ground Citadel a lot. For me, this was a pretty slow farm if I remember correct. I did it quite a while ago. So if you do go for it, I'm going to wish you a lot of luck and hopefully it doesn't take you as long as it took me. But hey, if you had some good luck this week, tell me about it in the comment section. I always like to hear about it. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. You can click on subscribe. Thanks for coming by and watching it. I'd like to send a hi out to my best friend, and y'all take care.